Vacation conversations. Today on the MODversation, I thought I would take take a minute, take stock of the first 5 weeks of having a new YouTube channel. The ups and downs of having a brand new YouTube channel and what goes on in, you know how it is. If you don't have one, the pressure to start can build pretty, For me, starting came because I was just so tired of thinking about everything. One day it just came across in my mind as a thought that I needed to pick something. So I knew I wanted to do something with this Volkswagen Golf GTI that I had, because I realized that I bought it because I had been watching a ton of YouTube modification videos about Golf GTIs, and this car had come on to Craigslist, and then she left it. And then I didn't see her again until one day. And so I went to look at it, right? And the guy was firm, but at the same time, he hands me a stack of receipts and with all this work that was pretty much done yesterday. So I ran the Carfax, and there wasn't any accidents, but it looked like from everything that was happening and driving the car that something happened on the right hand side. Like there was a new radiator, new cat, and all this stuff was going on. New oil pan, blah blah blah, pump, this and that. And so I had the tires rotated. So I bought it. I went and had the tires rotated, and he tells me that the front rim is so bent he could barely balance it. So he sticks it on the back for me, but he says he said he could balance it. So then I knew that the frame was fine, because he would have told me, right? Those guys love to tell you. So the frame was fine, and I figured out that it was something in the front, and it wasn't on Carfax, and everybody kept it pretty hush-hush. So that in mind, I went on with my business, and I ended up actually ordering a refurbished rim to replace that super bent one. So that's kind of how I started. I was filming everything. I knew I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and so I was just filming everything I could, right? Everything I did to it, I bought one of those little action camera kits from Amazon, like $50 for everything. And it comes with a few batteries, and I already had a bunch of little micro SD cards. So it didn't cost me much to get started. And I had been using an iPhone SE with a 4K and high definition camera on it. And I wasn't even using, for all the footage, any microphones, which I have two going right now. And so I knew I wanted to do a channel. I didn't know what, but I just kept filming things. So if you don't have anything worked out, just film a bunch of B-roll that, if anything, you can refer to later, or make whatever videos you have a little more interesting with just some old B-roll. Like for me, it was the lithium the plastic restoration and the hit and run paint, where I filmed everything I could. Sometimes the camera would overheat and I lost some things, but what I kept it helped me do a video. And it was Analog Money Project. He came out with a series called "I Quit My Job and Started Selling Things Online," and he took off. That series of videos is like 1 through 4. It caught my attention, as someone who's looking, to get monetized. That is a goal of mine. Although it's not, I don't want to get rich. I'm looking to just get whatever 62 retirement pays somebody. That's all I need. That's a simple goal, right? So that's my goal. But it was Analog Money Project. He flashed something on the screen. First of all, he was the only one that I was watching that sort of explained how YouTube worked, and how you needed the views, and how you can apply but not reach it yet, but still be applied, and how he had to keep refreshing. And he was really giving me a mental picture on how it worked, and how I could, if I had a channel, how I could, have goals to work to. Because I was just, when you think about how you want to get a YouTube channel, you don't really know how it works yet, and so you don't really know what to watch or search for. It wasn't until after I had a channel that I was finding these new YouTube, how to grow your channel videos, which I'll get into those. But it was Analog Money Project who flashed on the screen, "Just start, you'll figure it out." And I realized he was right. I was tired of making lists of names and channel names and you know, all of this and that and niches. Oh, I had a list of niches a mile long. So I realized just pick something. So I did. I picked something. I decided what the channel was going to be. You know, at first, it was going to be just, you know, like Monkey Wrench Mike or an auto auction rebuild, just like focusing on like a MightyCarMods, like modification videos, repair videos. I might go look at golfs. I might go to a car show. So it started off. I just decided to just, like I said, you had to just pick something. So modification conversation just came to me one day. I decided the MODversation. The MODversation was going to be it, right? So I made a list and stuck with things I was going to do. Got the email address going. Had a buddy help me with getting the domain name picked out, which I still have to figure out the website. So I just, like I said, just pick something and just start. And if I had to do it over again, I would have waited until I had a number of videos collected, like at least 6 or 7 videos before I'd launch the channel. But as soon as I had a video done, I would launch it. You know, I would unlist it and I would schedule it. I always had that kind of down for some reason. So how did I begin this channel again? So I knew all the modifications I'd filmed and I had a list of things I wanted to do and I couldn't decide on what to start with. So I literally just cut them up, put them in a hat, picked them out, made a list, and I started with whatever number 1 was. I didn't want to do Hatch Pop Kit first because it wasn't the real Hatch Pop Kit. It's just the spring thing that I made that makes my life easier, right? I mean, I can literally just, as I'm walking to the car, unlock it, and with one finger it goes bing, and to me that's fantastic, right? Because I got the ECS Tuning Flash module with the key fob activation for the Windows. For me, that sort of counterbalances the fact that I can't do it with my key fob with the hatch. In a perfect world, I had the fuel door actuator. In a perfect world, I'll do a part 2 on that one. But back to starting a YouTube channel, just begin, just start. Pick that first video and make it. And use the editing skills you have. As a former Apple employee, I can always make iMovie videos because when you first get hired at Apple, you're what's called in your Apple core. So you meet at a hotel for 2 weeks and you're with these group of people and you learn how to do Apple things. So for me, it was great because I learned they teach you how to edit in iMovie. So that's what I use, iMovie. And I like Canva for shorts. I wish I could do Canva for both, but I know iMovie so well that I can think of videos in iMovie. For me, Canva takes a little bit more mental stuff. But use whatever you know how to do already. Yeah, someday you can upgrade to whatever editing software you want to upgrade to. But just for now, pick something you're excited to talk about. Like, I love that car. I don't really need a car. I'm in the East Bay, and in my 50s now I've learned how to, live close to work and close to the shops and just be walking distance from everything. So I've sort of gotten that built into my lifestyle. And when I saw the car, I overreacted and I bought it. And I'm glad I did, but I don't really need a car. I'm hoping that the channel sort of makes it pay for itself someday. But as of right now, it's something that I'm excited to learn about more. Like I said before, I did a lot of this when I was younger. And so working on cars as a niche for me is great, even though my niche is now expanding. Don't be afraid to let your niche, I picked a niche just to pick something, but don't be afraid that your niche and my name, you can change your name a lot. Keep your name the same. I dropped my the recently. I might keep the, but make videos you're excited about. You can always edit them later. Like, as I'm finding out now, I guess people don't like my intros. I don't know. Retention rate goes down. And for me, the intro is one of the most fun things to do in the video, right? And so I guess for me, the bloom is kind of off the rose in a lot of ways that I was excited before I started YouTube. It'll change. Trust me. and it sort of worked through it. I took a few days off because I was just overwhelmed by it at first, especially when you're up until 3 in the morning and you've posted a few shorts that are really taken off. I mean, sometimes I'm watching a short just get 1,000 views and I'm getting so excited. I'm nowhere near monetization yet, but I'll have those nights where I'm just up until 4 and 5 in the morning. I'm getting good shorts, views, and things are really taking off for me. And I'm trying to figure out and retain and not mess because the temptation to mess with the video while it's going off is you gotta just let it go, let it breathe, let let the video just take off, right? So I would say that, yeah, pick a niche because it's going to change. My niche is changing now. It was at first it was just going to be about the car and modifications, and me talking about modifications I make to this car, but now it's mod style. I've been a mod since my teen years. I love modernist style, and I've incorporated it into it's whatever is easy, for your life that makes you feel like you look like you have style. Like, it doesn't have to be 60s mod fashion. For me, I use a lot of Uniqlo 2-button black jackets. I can literally fold up, roll up, stick into a backpack, and when I take them out and put them on, it's like I just pressed it. They do not wrinkle. I mean, for me, that's modern mod is how can I look my best without any effort. So yeah, when lockdown started, I got a bunch of pretty much nice clothes like that for free. I mean, like, nobody was going to thrift stores. People were just hucking clothes in the street. I got so many just bags of you know nice button down Uniqlo shirts. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So don't be sticking to your niche. If you find that your niche is breathing elsewhere, then let it go. My niche is now a 50-year-old man plus who is, living by himself and trying to figure out where to relocate as he's fixing up a classic car, as he's sort of getting his life in order. I'm post divorce. I'm still in Berkeley, or close to Berkeley, and I was just struggling for a decade and a half because I had already learned this lesson. I didn't want to live up here by myself. But with a wife, I came up here. And then we got divorced. And for some reason, I just stayed up here and struggled. And I just recently realized that. So I'm trying to figure out where to relocate. At the same time, I'm not really sure what career I want. And if I can get this off the ground monetization wise and encourage other people. You can watch my channel grow. Right now, I have very little views and very little subscribers. I'm thankful for the ones I have. And hopefully, I'll help somebody else. Maybe by my saying just pick something will help somebody else get the courage and maybe you already have a bunch of video and all you need to do is edit it. Use iMovie, use Canva. Canva is free. And the only reason why I'm paying for it is because I watched a video or I could bulk create a bunch of shorts and it worked. And I needed to sign up for it to get the bulk, you know, you know, the bulk part of it to work. It was the paid for pro aspect of Canva. But by using it, I realize now that it's invaluable for me. It's got an automatic background remover. So for me, for thumbnails, Canva is makes my life so much easier that I'm whatever the monthly fee is, I'm paying it because for me, Canva Pro is worth it. But you don't need to pay for anything. Canva is free for video editing, and you can just make shorts in Canva from the free version. I would say don't get hung up on what you don't know. Use what you do know because it helped. Already knowing iMovie, I can make a video in my mind and storyboard it, and I'm ready to go. And the more you make, the better you get. And in iMovie, I can use titles. When I forget to film something, I can use titles to make my point, really quick, subtly, in a white font and Shorts likes that. So I think my titles look good that way in the long form. So I would say just start and don't get hung up on things you don't know. Those people that will offer advice on new channels and how to start and grow a channel, by all means, watch those YouTube videos. Those people are very helpful that offer advice on how to grow a channel. I watched one where he gives a list of things to do, and and descriptions. That's where I learned why descriptions are important. So by all means, watch those videos, but don't feel like you have to watch a million of them. Watch a couple of them. Get, like I got descriptions from one, thumbnails from one, and then look at videos that you like to watch. I've noticed too that Auto Auction Rebuilds used to do intros, and now he goes right in, right? This is hello everybody, welcome, whatever. And even though I really was excited for the intros, using Clarkson and Hammond and May, now I'm just gonna jump right into them, I think, too. And I've gone back and edited the intro out of a few early ones. It just made sense. But I'm trying to keep them all above 8 minutes for future monetization, right? So it's a couple of them like 802, 803. So make up, use your best judgment. I choose to not use music because when I was younger with YouTube, just for fun videos for family, I used music and got, harassed by YouTube about it. So for me, I'm not using any music. I have one little piece of music for an outro that's royalty free that I got years ago that I'm using. So that's it. I I'm wary of all clips and all that stuff. I don't want to get shut down, so I'm just using content that is real, that's not AI, and is all me. So I hope that's something that people like to enjoy, because I don't want to waste time with people with sponsorships, or I'm not, going to have you click through Amazon. If I mention something with Amazon, it's because that's one of the things that excites me about car modifications these days, is Amazon and eBay make it so easy. When I was younger, it was a big pain in the ass, right? I mean, everything was 6 to 8 weeks. You couldn't find it. I had a 69 Saab as one of my first cars. And if anything went wrong on that, that was it. It was $1,000 or more. And, oh, nobody had it though. Right? Oh, yeah, let me call Sweden and get back to you. You're waiting by the phone for 3 months. No one's calling you. Nobody's calling you, right? So if I ever mention something on Amazon or show you something, it's because I really enjoy uh, being able to get tools the next day. And for me, tools was a big part of it too. I didn't have any when this all began, moving so much and being divorced and not really having a place. It was starting from scratch with tools for me. And I chose DeWalt simply because like I say, you got to pick something, right? And DeWalt batteries had a lot of Amazon clone systems that I was into, like orbital polishers and ratchets and heat guns and plastic welders and a lot of things just, that use that DeWalt battery technology. And I got a deal on one of those Prime days where I got an impact driver, and I got a drill from DeWalt and two batteries and a charging station. And it's the max battery, and it's all real, not counterfeit. I got a super sweet deal on it, so I chose DeWalt simply because of that, of those reasons, where it just ticked all the boxes. Pick something, good deal, and all of that. So I would say if you're going to start car modifications, and make sure you figure out your tools. And the thing I like about it is about Amazon and eBay, and to some extent Etsy. Like with brakes, rear brakes. I know I need that piston thing, so I got one of those. They're not, it's like a piston caliper kit, and I got the bleeder wrench. I didn't have that, so I got that. And so you can see what tools you need, what tools you have, and then what tools you need to get. So that's the only reason why I ever will mention Amazon or eBay, or to some extent Etsy, is because those places have been invaluable. Like, I was able to find, when this thing failed on the old GTI, it's the third brake light. I got one ordered from ordered from eBay, but it wasn't coming. So I got this literally the next morning, and it was a 2 kit, just a regular generic third brake light. and I was able to remove this part of this and keep the housing and zip tie this one to this. And it works so well, it's still in there. I got this from eBay a few weeks ago, but I haven't wanted to. I mean, it works so well, especially with that strobe. So with the little strobe controller relay, now it works so well that I'm going to wait until I'm messing with. I've got some issues with the headliner drooping, so I'm going to fill some syringes with some Gorilla Glue, and hopefully I can syringe me some Gorilla Glue up in there. So that's why I love Amazon and eBay, and to some extent Etsy. And so yeah, so I don't want to waste people's time with sponsorship or music to fast forward. You know, when I'm looking at something and someone starts blasting music at me, oftentimes I do either just I swipe out of there, or I fast forward, or I mute it, or something. I do something. But like even with sponsorships, I mean, I wish I could tell Bill Maher, "Hey man, put those at the end because I'm out of here." Right? So for me, I don't want to waste your time with that stuff. So you probably won't see sponsorships or loud music on here. I would rather just hear the birds chirping in the background when I'm working on something on the street. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And yeah, so I'm probably going to remove all the intros from now on, and I'll get the website going. But as far as, starting a channel, I would say do it. And even if you're not sure what to do, suddenly I have 42 videos on a channel 5 weeks later. And I was so terrified to start this that I made so many intros in the car, on the street, and never used them and just deleted them. You will know. And just, a lot of in my first few videos, the focus was weird. And I actually bought here's my equipment that I'm using. Is a ring light that I got on Amazon that just gives me it makes the place light up a little bit. I had to make a studio with some curtains, and this is a tiny apartment, so I just put some curtains in the background, and I've got my chair in front of. I bought a brand new refurbished. It's an iPhone SE 3rd edition, and it's got the 4K camera, and I set it 4K on 30 refresh, and I've got two little microphones. It plugs into the lightning port, and that adapter has a plug for power, so I can still use power. I can still power the camera, right? And it's the iPhone. I've got a Mac Mini that I edit things on, right? Mac Mini M1 chip, 8 gigs of RAM, and I just upgraded it with a 2 terabyte Western Digital hard drive gaming SSD stick. So I bought a little stand that it sits on that has that hole in it for the SSD stick, and I stuck that in there. So today I've upgraded my internal, so now it's faster when I'm editing. So it doesn't take much equipment, and you can change it as you go. But I'm really editing on a Mac Mini that was refurbished on. You can get those things on Amazon right now, cheap, like under $500. If you don't mind the Intel chips, it's like 180. But get an M something chip. You'll be happier in 5 years. Mine's an M1. It's good for another 5 years. M1 chip. My Mac Mini with an M1 chip and 8 gigs is cheap, and it's going to be around for another 5 years. I just upgraded the internal hard drive. Well, the storage today, I upgraded it another 2 terabytes, and it was cheap to do that. So I would say don't feel like you have to spend a bunch of money. I needed a second phone anyway because I want to have a way to make YouTube channels for other people. This one that I made on my, I had that channel for 12 years. I didn't know what I was doing on it. I didn't really understand YouTube until recently. Isn't that weird? Like, I've had a channel. I made a Oaklandia spoof thing, and nobody really watched I didn't know how to post things. I didn't really realize that I had a channel. I thought I was just watching videos, but it was a channel. So I made a channel under my main name, right? The one that I Google with and watch YouTube channel with. And so I needed a second thing. So I bought this phone, this iPhone SE 3rd edition with a 4K camera. So I got this so that I had another way of having accounts that aren't that are more business. I can literally send this if the thing takes off, if the company takes off, I can let somebody else manage the other accounts with this phone. So that's why I got that. And I have no idea how the algorithm works. I mean, but here's how I suspect that it works. When I decided to buy YouTube Premium, I was positive that the algorithm knows what I like and what I don't like. And it was just sending me commercials that I could not stand. Commercials that were making me just scream at the TV. So I think it makes you buy premium. And then having premium and knowing that to get monetized, I want to be on AdSense. So how does AdSense make money from the premium people, right? I mean, I know that even by skipping ads, you're telling AdSense something. But if you're paying to not have ads, how does someone who's monetized make money when, like, if I'm watching someone's stuff, does it even matter that I'm a premium member? Are they making money off my? I hope they are, right? So there's a lot that you have to just kind of figure out. Like, all videos have to be public to get monetized or to have watch hours. So yeah, unlisted is great for, a little bit, but make sure it's public, right? So, I mean, there's a lot to figure out and you will be confused, but just let it breathe. You know, I've gotten out of the habit of changing things. I'm only upgrading. Like I'm trying to make sure I have everything edited in my earlier videos before I start making chapters. I made chapters in a couple of them and it really does look nice in the description. So I'm going to make more. I'm going to edit all the videos, make sure all the tags are right in each one because, each one is different. So, and yeah, my niche has changed a bit. It was at first it was just autos and vehicles and modifications. Now sometimes I do a comedy short. Sometimes I do a lot of how-to automotive shorts, but sometimes I do a little comedic observation about something. I did a Cinderella life lesson one. I'm about to start doing some Northern Exposure ones. I'm not afraid of losing viewers over this, but I have decided to stop posting to subscriptions feeds as a rule. I was doing it for all the stuff, but I think I might just not. I don't know, right? Do I want to bug my subscribers with every little thing? No, I'm gonna keep doing. If it is car related, I'll keep putting it in their feeds. But I do uncheck that box a lot. So yeah, sorry to bump the mic. So yeah, so 5 weeks in. I had to take a few days off. It was a bit overwhelming. There were a couple of days when I was staying up until 4 or 5 in the morning with those awesome shorts. It was like around the September 28th when they were just going through I would think of something that a buddy sent me, like an old shot of him under his hood with walnuts everywhere. And so I had an idea for a short. I went home and made it, and an instant 1,000 views. And when it's happening to you, it's a little bit terrifying. Like it's almost like the genie's out of the bottle. So I hope this video helps other people who are on the fence about starting a channel. I would say start it. I would say, but have at least 5 videos that are edited. I would say make sure they're all over 8 minutes. I don't understand the algorithm has caught up to shorts that are over a minute yet. So keep your shorts, I would say, under a minute for now. If you have any that are over a minute and under 3 minutes, save them up for a couple of weeks because from what I understand, the algorithm doesn't put those longer ones in the feed yet. It hasn't, I guess the coding hasn't caught up to the longer duration. So that's all the help I have to offer. But yeah, so 5 weeks in, this is the 6th week. I've taken like a few days off because life just kind of gets a little bit crazy. And this is exciting. I've got 2 videos I've got a bunch of things I'm working on. I am trying to make underneath the hood all red and black. So I've got a dipstick cover that's black. I'm going to paint the orange part of it red, and then so that'll be that. And I had something picked out for the power steering cover, but that item got discontinued, and they sent me my money back. So I'm still looking for a way to make that green power steering lid not green. So anyway, um, so yeah, 5 weeks in, algorithm, uh, all the pressure to not have intros, have intros, skip intro. I mean, it's overwhelming, but as soon as you see a way to do it, I would say start and get your system down. I outlined this thing a million times, and I just read it a few times, and I've just been sort of speaking off the vest. So script it every word if you want. I like to sort of curb your enthusiasm it where I script it out pretty well, and then as it's happening, I just let it happen. So whatever you feel comfortable doing, start it. Don't be afraid. I always blur out my license plate, and I edit shots of where I forget to do that out. So that's what I choose to do. I mean, I live close to Berkeley, and I always say Berkeley, but there's no way to find me that way. It's just make sure you're safe on here. But I hope I'm letting people in enough that you know they understand. I'm a man who's living by himself, just trying to make it in this world, and it's hard to live in California right now when you're alone and trying to relocate. And it's something that I'm hoping other people are doing better than I am with. But it gets better. Uh, that car is fun. It came along at the right time in my life, so that's why I'm using it. The car is the star for me. And that's what I'm hoping. If you have something like that you're really into, use that as your niche. For me, I'm learning so much. I haven't done a lot of this stuff since I was in my late 20s, and I'm over 50. So there are a lot of like doing that dog bone modification for me was terrifying. But once I had the steps involved, get every step in place. For me, I have to have every step sort of logged, and then once I can see it on ABC, once I see it as a ordered thought, then I can do it. And for me, that dog bone thing was just for me the hardest part was jacking up the car onto those stands, on those three stands. And once I got it up there, you got your torque range, you get your torque specs, everything is just easy. And I was able to use the socket wrench as a fulcrum, and it was I learned a lot about what I can do. And so, I've got to do the rear brake pads, I've got to do the oil change, and so this stuff will happen in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to do all the little bits I've done, the little tiny little modifications and little tiny repairs and things I thought of that helped. And I'm going to do the Richard Hammond, sleeper car challenge part 2, where I take that sweet little sleeper rig. Man, that's great. I'm still working on the curtains, but I'll do a video of all the little tiny little the travel tech that I've implemented in the car. Garmin refurbished with the maps I just downloaded. And I've got this radio transmitter. And I'll even show you how I use Notes to play MP3s. Did you know you can do that with Notes on the iPhone? Well, you can, and I'll show you. So anyway, this has been 5 weeks in, my YouTube struggle so far. I'm still excited. The bloom is a little bit off the rose in some places. I mean, intros were so much fun, and I'll still leave a few of them on there, and I'll sneak a few in once in a while. That's my take on YouTube 5 weeks in as a new channel, growing, hopefully. My goal, my monetization goal is that I just need enough to be retired by 62, right? I'm over 50, mid 50s ish, and I would just like to retire now in a way that I'm doing this. I'm doing YouTube videos, and I'm doing a podcast or two, and I'm relocating and helping other people start channels, know what I've learned, that kind of a thing. So join me in this quest and this journey, if you will. And this is 5 weeks in. I'll check back in later. The next videos will be back to car maintenance and modification conversations. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.